The Kramski Case is a 2011 espionage thriller by the British author James Ward, or to put it another way, me. This is the second of around 20 videos in which I'll attempt to explain, partly for my own longer-term benefit, what inspired my work, what it's about, and what it was meant to achieve. I probably won't write any more fiction now, so I'll usually talk in the past tense. The Kramski Case was the first in a series of 17 novels, 18 if you count the prequel, which I produced between 2011 and 2021 under the collective title Tales of MI7. My purpose, which became more focused as the series progressed, was to provide an examination of the main concerns of contemporary Britain. Spies struck me as a good medium for that. Their remit to defend the British way of life raises important questions about exactly what that is, and how far, if at all, it's worth protecting. For that reason, MI7, as its name might suggest, isn't intended to mirror the reality of the British security services. Readers hoping to learn about the nuts and bolts of MI5 or MI6 will be disappointed, although I suppose there must be some overlap. The 18 novels divide into three groups: A, the first three, B, the final 14, and C, the prequel set in 1980 called Our Woman in Jamaica. What distinguishes the second biggest section of the series from the Eastern Ukraine question onwards is the use of a single protagonist by the name of John Mordred, a man for whom doing the right thing is almost paramount and who doesn't take himself too seriously. There's only one character who appears in every single installment, a small black woman called Ruby Parker, who's the head of MI7's Red Department and who frequently represents all that remains of integrity and moral decency in the highest echelons of the British establishment. Anyway, the Kramski Case was the overall project's first faltering steps, and in many ways it's a conventional espionage thriller of the action variety. There are more fights and explosions and cliches that are probably necessary. It's set during a fictionalized version of the British general election of 2010. By sheer chance, it's ahead of its time because it's about a Russian attempt to manipulate the outcome. An important element of the story is Anna Politkovskaya's 2007 Putin's Russia, which provides a kind of vada mecum, a cross between a guidebook and a sacred text for one of the characters, a Russian ex-soldier stroke political prisoner by the name of Sergei Orlov. The story begins with a series of unexplained killings of paparazzi in Britain, Russia, and the USA. The Home Office draws 3 investigators from those 3 countries, and they're co-opted by MI7 when it appears that something deeper and more profound is going on. The rest is as much detective work as it is cloak and dagger. My aim from the outset was that this should be a character-driven rather than a plot-driven novel. All the characters change in different ways, but the one who undergoes the biggest transformation is undoubtedly a young woman called Marcy Brown, who's never part of the official investigation, but whose personal development provides the magic ingredient that unlocks it. My overall aim here was to create a satisfying structure and to make it entertaining, so there are really no big ideas. However, it does at least provide a plausible springboard for the next book in the series, The Girl from Kandahar, which does have serious themes. Although the 2 novels are linked, they can be read in isolation. And for better or worse, that's about all I have to say. For anyone interested in finding out more, there's a website called talesofmi7.com, which is a whole new can of worms.